Well, hello there in Tiki Land. Pooch coming back at you with Lovecraft Cocktails. Going to do another Quarantiki. It's been a week, so I think maybe we could all do with a little escapism and some Tiki-esque. So, let's do that. Seems fun to me. It's already been a good weekend, though. I mean, just from Casa de Pacucci or whatever we have here. Started off with a leading a virtual rum tasting on Friday. That was quite fun. We did 6 different rums, covering everything from your standard Puerto Rican style, a Bacardi Añejo, a Bacardi Blanc, going through a couple of Demerara rums, some Pussers. Of course, we hit Jamaica with a little Appleton, and closed out on what was 2017's #1 rum producer in the world, Flor de Cana, and tasted their 12-year-old. We tasted their 12. Age statement does not apply in this case. It is slow aged. 12. Does not mean that it's been aged 12 years. First up on the menu here is a drink that Star was thumbing through a copy of Smuggler's Cove that we had. She went, "Ooh, that looks yummy." And I went, "Oh, I can make that. That looks kind of cool. Let's give that a try." And it's been kind of a staple on the bar ever since. It does require a couple of special ingredients that you have to have on hand. One that may not be on most people's bar is some sort of apricot liqueur of some sort. So in this case, you can use Gifford's apricot or anything else. I'm just going to use some apricot flavored brandy. Maybe not the best apricot liqueur in the world, but hey, for this, not a problem. The other major ingredient that you might not have, well, you might not have my wife.
Hi.
But she's not an ingredient in the drink. She's just the drinker of the drink, right?
Yeah. We always have apricot brandy because Stephen taught me Hungarian coffee,
Right.
which is coffee with apricot brandy.
Right. Or in this case, apricot flavored brandy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, we wanted to see whether or not it actually worked out. And now we can actually, once I kill that bottle, we'll go up a price point and get some good apricot stuff. The other thing is that you're going to need some coconut cream. Now, you could be a fanatic. You could go out, you could buy coconuts, you could make your own cream, or as I do, I just like to buy the squeeze bottles and just use squeeze bottles. This is Coco Real. Coco Real. Coco Real does have to be refrigerated once you've opened it, and when you refrigerate it, it gets really thick. So when I know that I'm going to be doing cocktails, I will pull it out and I will dunk it actually in some warm water just to loosen it up a little bit. And it's been sitting here in about 10 minutes or so, and I can tell the consistency is a little better. It'll pour a little better this way. All right, so Geek Talk Amanda. Oh, excellent. And Pamela Hennessy having some freezing issues. Okay, all right. Turn off the air conditioning? No. Okay, so that's the. No, I'm sure the freezing issue or the freezing frame issues are on our side. What can I say? This is my bar. It's on the bottom floor and the router's on the top floor. So, we do what we can with our internet connectivity. Okay, so the Tradewinds. What does the Tradewinds require? It requires a mixing tin, because what we're going to do is actually do this in a spindle blender. So we're going to put everything in the mixing tin, and then we're going to stick it in the spindle blender, and then we're going to pour it in a glass, and Star is going to drink it. And my guess is she'll have it finished before I get through the second drink, because she really likes these. Okay, so what is in the Tradewinds? Well, what's in the Tradewinds is 1 ounce of lemon juice. So lemon juice, fresh squeezed, naturally, done a little earlier today, because so the funny thing about citrus juices is that letting them sit for about an hour or two, even 4 or 5 hours before using them, actually seems to help liven up the flavor of the citrus juice a little bit, as opposed to just juicing them straight into a drink. Who knew? It just seems to be something that's actually true. I don't know why it is. I don't know the science behind it, but it is. All right. we need 1.5 ounces of the coconut cream that I've put over here somewhere. All right, so we're going to go, this guy is marked 1 3/4. This one, however, is marked with a 1.5 ounce. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for the 1.5 ounce. Look at, see how smooth that pours? Yeah, that's just a little warmth in there to get that at 1.5. That's not going to make it spoil or anything else like that. So it's all good. 1.5 ounces of the coconut cream. Coolness. The brandy. So the apricot brandy, we need 1 ounce. I'm going to flip this guy around. 1 ounce apricot brandy. I love the speed pours. They do make things much, much easier. 2 rums go in this, and you want something that's got a lot of character to it. The base recipe in Smuggler's Cove calls for a black rum or a really dark rum. It doesn't call for an overproof, but in this case, I'm going to go with an overproof. So here's 1 ounce of the Hamilton 151 overproof rum. This is quite a yummy rum. It's got a lot of character to it. It'll add a lot of backbone to this. It'll be a nice complement to the coconut. Dripping a little bit. Yeah, it's tasty. We need another rum in here, and we're going to go with a really simple, clean rum. We're going with the Diplomatico Blanco, and again, 1 ounce of that. So yeah, you've only got 2 ounces of rum in here, but doing the 1 ounce of that as the overproof means this drink's going to have a little bit of a kick to it, which I'm sure Star will be quite happy about. Okay, so mixing tin, everything is in the mixing tin here. Now what we need to do is put some crushed ice in here. And somewhere I have an ice scoop. Aha, 1 ice scoop. Crushed ice in here. Smuggler's Cove recommends putting a couple of agitator cubes in, what they call slightly bigger cubes, to your crushed ice to help break things up just a bit. So we're just going to reach into this little ice pin, pull 3 or 4 of these ice cubes in there. They go there. Add just a tad more crushed ice. Here I'm not too much worried about the dilution because, again, I've got the 151 in here, so it's going to keep its backbone pretty strongly. Okay, spindle blender sitting right here. This is not something that every bar, home bar has, but if you're a tiki enthusiast, sooner or later you're going to bite the bullet and get yourself a spindle blender. Sitting right next to it is a Waring home blender, and if you don't have a spindle blender, you can use the regular blender for it. It won't give you quite the same consistency, but it'll still be yummy. All right, so we're going to do this, and it's a quick blend. It's only like 5-7 seconds. All right. Napkin. Spindle blenders are messy, guys. If you just pull the tin out, it's just going to drip all over your counter. So I like to put a towel underneath it and then use a towel to clean off the spindle as I'm doing it. Now, this drink, along with a lot of the crushed ice blended drinks from Smuggler's Cove, is done with what is called a open pour with gated finish, which means what you're going to do is you're going to take your glass, you're going to pour this in, you're going to get about there in the glass. You look down in here and you go, if I keep pouring ice in here, this is going to overflow. So what I'm going to do at this point is the gated finish. So there's my Hawthorne strainer. That goes in. Look at that, right there. Very nice, right up to the wash line. And the Tradewinds has a classic garnish that goes with it. So the garnish is the lemon, because of course you've got lemon in this. And then the Tradewinds are a-blowin', so you want to make sure that you've got your umbrella inside out. And there you go. There is one of Star's favorite drinks, the Tradewinds. put a straw in that, and my guess is by the time I turn around, she will be up here waiting for this drink. So, so one other trick when doing drinks that have crushed ice in them, especially off the spindle blender, the smaller straws will sometimes get the crushed ice stuck in them and you won't be able to get through them. So I like to use a straw that's got a little bigger bore on it. Here's my glass bamboo straw. Love this guy. And he'll go right in there.
I'll put his link in the comments.
She's gonna hate that. So, oh wait, maybe not. Okay, so there's the Tradewinds. Okay, I don't normally make it with the overproof. What do you think?
That's good.
Yeah, I really think the overproof adds something to that drink. So that's very cool. So there you go. There's a Tradewinds. I think I may start making them with the overproof rum from this point on. Next drink.
Surfside Sips.
Surfside Sips is the one that does the straws. We've mentioned them before. Really love their stuff. They're very cool. Patronize them. Don't pat them on the head, patronize them. Patronize them as in send them money and get good stuff from them. Sounds like a plan. All right, drink number 2 is an intermediary drink. So normally when I'm standing up here and I'm making drinks for people, I'm making tiki drinks. Well, the second drink tonight is a pretty much non-tiki drink. It is just not tiki in any way, shape, or form. Where you come across these drinks most often is Kentucky Derby Day. So people are all dressed up in their finery and they got big hats on and everything looks great and awesome and, you know, formal and, oh Snooty, look at my pony running on the track. Oh yes. Sort of the antithesis of tiki, right? The mint julep. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a mint julep for Meg Barber. Oh yeah. So Meg and her family are going through a little bit of a tough time right now. So we're going to do a mint julep for them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that mint julep and I'm going to go, well, it ain't tiki. Let me make it tiki. And I'm going to show you how to tikify a mint julep. So how do we do a mint julep? Mint juleps are really actually quite easy to do. Alton Brown gets them wrong, but that's okay. So first of all, when making a mint julep, all right, so your mint julep. So mint julep is, it starts with a julep cup, and your julep cup should be nice and cold. I had this stashed in the freezer, but I didn't want to leave camera to go get it. So before with this broadcast, I just shoved it in my crushed ice. So this is still plenty cold. These julep cups come courtesy of Woodford Reserve, even though we're not going to use Woodford Reserve in them. So what do? So first of all, you need some mint. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so mint leaves. These are actually pretty big, so I'm just going to give them a little smack here, open them up. They go inside the julep cup. I close that up because we're going to need mint later on. All right, step 1. Step 2, we're going to put some sugar in here, and then we're going to muddle this. So we need a 1/2 ounce of sugar. In this case, I'm going to already start down the tiki line by putting a little Demerara sugar syrup in here. So here we go. This is a Demerara syrup. It is made with pure cane granulated sugar and Demerara syrup, or Demerara sugar, because Demerara sugar is a little bit harder to get into solution. So this was made this morning. So it's all nice and tasty and fresh for us. We're going to go 1/2 ounce of that. 1/2 ounce in there. All right, just pour that over the mint leaves. Then you're going to take a muddler. Now, muddlers generally come in a couple of styles. There's the all wood ones, there's metal ones that have a rubber tip on them. Some of them have a smooth end, like this one has a smooth end, and some of them have a grippy end on one side. So the grippy ends are really good for breaking apart citrus, but they're not really good for the mint, because you don't want to be ripping your mint completely apart here, because otherwise you'll get kind of a woody flavor to it, which of course I'm going to violate that when I tikify this. So we're just going to do a few muddles here. Tap, tap, tap. We don't want to be too disgusting here. All right, so there we've got some Got a little muddled mint down in the bottom there. There's still some liquid down in there from the syrup. And then we're going to add some bourbon to this. 2.5 ounces of bourbon to this. I'm going to go a little weird here. I've got some Berkshire Smoke and Peat bourbon. Most people probably be going, why the heck are you putting that in a julep? Why don't you use a pure bourbon? Because I want to, that's why. All right, so we got 2.5 coming. 2.5. These are not weak drinks. 2.5 ounces of a, what is this, 43% alcohol. Yeah, that's going to be a nice stiff little julep here. Crushed ice goes in here. Aren't you glad I crushed the ice ahead of time so you don't have to hear my ice crusher going? So we're going to take a bunch of crushed ice. That goes here. You can also use pebble ice for this. In fact, most people say pebble ice is slightly better than the crushed ice, but it's what I have, right? Can't have every kind of ice on hand. I'm going to use my little tiny swizzle stick here.
We don't have a Sonic locally.
Yeah, we don't have a Sonic locally, so. And then we're just going to swizzle this. You can use a spoon, just stick it in there. But what you want to do is make sure you get this all nice and mixed up. Or in this case, the bottom of your plastic swizzle can fall off in the middle of your cocktail. Okay, this is kind of bizarre and has never happened to me before, so we're going to try and recover from this. Somewhere in here, there's going to be the bottom of my swizzle stick. Aha!
Not straight in.
This is what your long tweezers are for. Haha! There we go. This is why you should use all natural swizzles like this one. They're not going to break off. Okay, so this goes in. Bourbon, ice, mint, a little bit of sugar. Add some crushed ice back into this. I left the scoop in here. You can tell losing the swizzle bottom in there kind of threw me. I'm like, what am I doing? Oh no. All right, so there we go. That. There's a mint julep. Wait, we're not done. You're going to want a straw for this. Get down in there. So also you can stir it up. Nope, still not done because it's not a mint julep unless you got a bunch of mint hanging off this thing. So we're going to smack this mint. The question goes out, why are you smacking the mint? Because I want to. No, here's the deal. If you smack the mint, you're breaking up some of the outer leaf structure. And what that allows you to do is make a more aromatic drink. Although it works better when you have fresh mint. My mint has seen better days. All right, 1 mint julep. Ta-da! This is about as untiki a drink as you're going to see me making, unless I'm just pouring pure spirit into a glass. Oh man, Star's going to have to take a taste of this. She would usually not be a julep fan, but I'm thinking she's going to like this one. The smoke and the peat of this particular bourbon makes this really fun. I'm favorably impressed by this.
That's not bad for a julep.
Excellent.
I would drink that. But I have a Tradewinds.
She has a Tradewinds. She's not done with the Tradewinds, so you know, I feel like I have failed in some way because usually she just sucks down those Tradewinds. All right, julep, horse racing, snobbery, anti-tiki. So wait, what am I going to do? How am I going to Tikify this particular cocktail? Well, making it with crushed ice, so I could do a swizzle. So we take, you know, large glass, do the same basic thing where we muddle some mint in there, line up all of the crushed ice and pour the alcohol in and then do the swizzle. But that's a swizzle. I mean, it's a swizzle. We did one last time we did this, so maybe I should do something else. What else do we do with crushed ice? We use a spindle blender, like with the Tradewinds. Ah, okay, so let's see what we can do with this. All right, we're going to start with a mixing tin. I happen to have multiple because I throw tiki parties, so you've got to have multiple. And
My wife goes to garage.
as my wife goes to garage sales, finds me mixing tins, and that way I have multiple of them. All right, so what we did originally was a 1/2 ounce of the Demerara syrup. I want something with a little more tiki character. I mean, this is a nice start, but I want a little more. So we're going to do the same thing we did beforehand, which is toss some mint leaves in there. So mint leaves. I'm going to tear up the larger leaves here. Had these sitting in a little bit of ice water in order to keep them as fresh as possible. All right, so there's a bunch of leaves in there. Choosh. So I'm going to split the syrup here. Instead of just doing the full 1/2 ounce of the Demerara, I'm going to go 1/4 ounce of the Demerara. And then I'm going to reach into the bag of tricks, because today was a banner day in the kitchen for making tiki stuff. So gracious friend of ours at People's Drug gifted us with some pistachios early on in the COVID. And I've been thinking I need to do an orgeat that is made with pistachios, because John makes a really fantastic drink using pistachio orgeat. And I'm like, I need to try that. So I made some pistachio orgeat. It's basically the same as any old orgeat that you would normally get, which is usually made from almonds, except in this case, it's made with pistachios. So we're going to round out that 1/2 ounce with another 1/4 ounce of this pistachio orgeat. There we go. So now we've hit the 1/2 ounce mark. That goes in there. One of the nice things about the orgeat is it's got a kind of heavier mouthfeel than just the sugar. And so that's going to give this a textural element that would be missing from the julep, which, pardon me for a second. Yeah, that's still pretty darn tasty. Okay, I do want to muddle this just slightly. I'm not going to be too interested in how much I muddle this because, well, I'm going to use a spindle blender on it. So we actually are going to beat this up a little more than what would normally happen. All right, so here's one of the tricks that I'm trying to get myself used to is having a bowl back here that's got some water in it so that I can just take implements like this and instead of leaving them on my bar mat, I can just dump them in the water like that and like that. And that way they're sort of rinsing while I'm doing this. Okay, so there we go. We've got our muddle down there. And now we need 2.5 ounces of some sort of alcohol. Bourbon for the julep, but I wanted to tikify this, and I think with the orgeat, rum would be a good call. I'm going to reach in this case for the Tiki Lover's Friend, an overproof rum from Plantation. This is Plantation's OFTD. A bunch of people had a hand in making this particular rum, including Martin Cade of Smuggler's Cove fame and Richard Seal of Foursquare Distillery in Barbados. Who else? Jeff Beachbum-Berry, David Wondrich, etc., etc. So a bunch of people had hands in making this. This is some really good stuff. It's a little overproof, which means it'll fit in just fine with what we're doing here. So we need 2.5 ounces. Here's our 1/2 ounce. Ta-da. And then the 2 ounces. All right, I'm making a cardinal sin here. I am, okay, 2 actually. So this is not on entirely tight, so I'm dripping some of my beloved OFTD onto my mat. Well, horrible. Secondly, I did not clean out this end of the jigger, which means there's some coconut cream left in it. So I don't know what that's going to do to this drink, but we're going to find out. Okay, this goes back here. David Wondrich is a cocktail historian and knows a great deal about cocktails. He is to general cocktails what Jeff Beachbum-Berry is to the tiki cocktails in terms of tracking down recipes, ingredients, that sort of thing. Done, just in time.
Rachel, Churchill,
Yes.
and Brian Russell that I used to work with at Ipsen.
Oh, excellent. More people. The more people, the better. All right. So here we have our proto tiki julep thing. All right. So we're going to go crushed ice. Need some dilution here. The OFTD does roll in at 69% alcohol. So yeah, we want some dilution. Take this over to the spindle blender. Zap it for 5 to 7 seconds. This time I did not use the agitator cubes because I don't want them in the final drink. And it's really hard to strain so that you get crushed ice, but you don't get the agitator cubes. That's just a pain. All right. Broke up some of the mint. Here's our glass we're going to do this in. We're just going to do an open pour. Okay. I want to add a little bit of crushed ice because I want some crushed ice sitting on top here because I got a plan for this. So my plan is taking some more crushed ice, add that on the top. Look at that. Okay, so a little kind of crushed ice dome there. Then more tikiing it up. So this is what you might call pimento dram. You'll also see it as allspice dram. The thing you can get in the market that is allspice dram is this St. Elizabeth allspice dram. This is fine stuff. I like it, but I really love the allspice dram from Cotton and Reed, which is a local distiller in DC. And this just has a slightly different spice profile. And I'm just going to pour a little bit of that over the top, just like that. Makes for a pretty drink. The aromas of that just coming off of there, it's really nice. We're going to garnish it the same way we would do a julep, i.e. more mint the better. So here we go. We're going to stick some mint in here. Mint, mint, and last little pathetic mints that we have here. Again, crushed ice, so we need a great big straw for this. The second of these Sipsmith straws. This guy goes in here. There you go. Here's a julep, done all tikified and stuff. So let's see what this tastes like. Because I don't know. It's the first time I've made one of these. Let's see. Huh. Well, that is a spicy little drink right there. I'm thinking maybe a little citrus.
Little citrus.
Little citrus to spark
maybe
this up.
Maybe a little less allspice dram.
Yeah, I really like allspice dram, so, you know, whatever. I do think that maybe she's right on the one aspect of the allspice dram. I think there might be a little much allspice dram, and as a consequence, it does beat up the pistachio orgeat, so we're not getting the really nutty flavor. But this is a good base, all right? So we've taken the julep, we've worked it into something else here, maybe add a little citrus to brighten this up. Almost all of your tiki drinks follow the same basic pattern of having a sour, usually some citrus, some sweet, we got that. Your alcohol, and then some dilution. So we got everything except the sour in here. So maybe a tinge of like some lemon, or actually probably lime juice would work best for this thing. And that would give you a nice tiki julep. So here's to avoiding reality for a while, having a nice spicy cocktail. Yeah, a little lime juice would be good. A little lime juice in there. So there you go. This has been me doing Quarantiki for another week. Hopefully it's been enjoyable. It's not a touch screen. There we go.